Hello my friends and welcome back to the rabbit hole. Today's video is going to be all about dupes. I've got both makeup and skincare dupes. I'm going to give you reviews of the dupes, how they compare, if I think they're really worth it. And in this particular video, I tried to put together dupes that I don't think people necessarily know about, as well as answering some dupe questions that a couple of you guys had asked me in the past. So all that's going to be in this video. If you're here for only makeup or skincare, check the timestamps in the description box. I want to start this video off by talking about the Goddess palette from Alter Ego. So I'm wearing this today. I wore this in my last video and I've done a bunch of other looks with it as well. I've been playing around with this in as many ways as possible, and I'm going to give you the full pros and cons with this because that's how I roll. I don't think that everybody is going to love this, but I think a lot of people actually are. All right, first off, pros. It really does feel like a palette that's way more than $16. You've got a mirror in it. These shades are just beautiful, and I really, from looking at other Natasha Denona Gold tutorials, which I did watch also, I think they did a really good job coming close to the colors, even though I don't own that and probably never will. If you ever used Bad Habits palettes, this is a very similar formula. It is a little on the powdery side. Usually my palettes don't look this messy in a week, but because it's powdery, yeah, that happens. So there is a potential con, especially in using the mattes. These shimmers are going to get into the matte. So if you are really particular about not having glitter anywhere that you have used mattes, this isn't for you. On the other hand, because it is more powdery, if you already enjoy formulas like Anastasia Beverly Hills, I really do think it's quite similar to that. As far as application goes, you absolutely need a primer with this palette. Again, I think this is because it's very powdery. I think you really need to use something that is going to help those powders adhere to your eye. I don't think spraying your brush is enough. I tried it. I don't think it's enough. And even adding to that, I kind of think you need a specific primer, but don't worry, we've got good options here. So I tried no primer, faded in 2 hours. I tried Max Paint Pot, faded in 2 hours. I tried P. Louise Base, lasted for 8 hours. I tried Urban Decay's Eyeshadow Primer Potion. This lasts all day. This is what I'm wearing again today. And guess what? I had great results with Wet n Wild's Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer. This lasted me all day as well. So in good news, and definitely in a pro, you only have to spend $4 for a good primer. So now we are at $20 to use this palette, but again, versus the $129 of Natasha Denona's Gold. I'm going to tell you also that the super shimmery shades apply best with the finger. Actually, let me take you through applying this look. So basically what I did to do this look is I started with Iris. I do wish that it was a little bit lighter of a transition color, but I still think they kept it true to Natasha Denona's palette. So I started with that as my transition. I used Juno in the crease. So in a little bit of a con, I find you need to spray your brush to use that second matte if you're doing multiple matte colors. Now, I know another way around this, from what I've heard with Morphe palettes, is that some people start with the darker colors and work their way lighter. I kept forgetting. Actually, I kept meaning to do that, and I forgot every single time. So I just kept wetting my brush to intensify the darker colors as I was going along. Just something to note, not my favorite way to apply mattes, but again, it works. Then I used the shade Gaia all over my crease. Now I had to go back and apply this one twice. I do think you have a little bit of blending away with these, but by the second application, it was good to go. I added NYX glitter glue to my lid, went in with the shade Artemis, applied with my finger. Then I used the shade Freya all over the center of the lid, and the shade Cassandra, which might be my favorite shade in the entire palette, on the inner corner of my eye. And then later I used a little Gaia under the eye. I'm gonna tell you guys honestly, I love this palette, but now that I'm done testing it, I'm not gonna gravitate towards the mattes. In here I'm gonna use probably MAC mattes and then come back to this palette many times for the shades Cassandra, Artemis, Freya, Valkyrie, and Pandora. All 5 of these are absolutely phenomenally beautiful shades. Oh, and one other thing with this video is a lot of this review, but one other thing with this If you are having trouble initially, I highly recommend, as bizarre as this sounds, take your finger and swatch every single shade, because I feel like there is something that happens once you do this. There must be some amount of transfer from the oils in your fingers into the palette that kind of stabilizes the actual eyeshadows. One of my biggest concerns with this palette when I first got it, because it is so powdery, is this something I can travel with, or am I gonna drop it and it'll break? Well, in some great news, I already dropped it. Yes! You're a true hero, Alice. You are a true hero. And it lived, but again, you can see this powderiness? It's a very, very powdery palette. So again, if you don't love powdery, you may not like this, but again, if you're going for intense shimmers, you want a dupe for Natasha Denona's Gold, you want to follow along to some of those tutorials, I absolutely think it is beyond worth the $16. They could charge $25 for this and I wouldn't have noticed. Let's talk about some correctors next. These don't get talked about enough anymore, and I don't know why, because a lot of people ask me on my skincare videos, what do I do about the dark circles under my eyes? Honestly, you guys, sometimes it's just hereditary, and the best thing you can do is to buy a color corrector. Now, Becca makes one called the Under Eye Brightening Corrector, so does Bobbi Brown, there's quite a few of them. But I wanted to directly compare this to the Catrice Camouflage Cream because they might as well be the exact same product, at least in terms of color. I want to really make clear the ways that things are dupes. This one is a little bit more of a kind of creamy texture. This is a little bit more stiff, but it ends with the exact same result. So the demos I'm showing you guys is also what I have on today. So this is the Becca side, this is the Catrice side. I cannot tell a difference. This is the sample size. I won't buy the full size because it's the same thing. It's the same thing. One of you guys asked me to actually do a direct comparison of the Ulta Beauty Moisturizing Foundation Stick up against the Hourglass Vanish Foundation Stick. So I went and bought another one of these on eBay. Let me tell you guys, the resellers really jack the prices up for these. But we did it, and I feel even more confident calling this a dupe. Both of these apply exactly the same. They glide on the skin, and I wanted to make sure that even though I applied primer all over my face, I didn't on my forehead, which is my self-conscious zone. Yes, I have a zone of self-consciousness. But that's because sometimes my foundation will really find my fine lines and sink into that and age me. So I usually use a primer to buff that area, but I didn't today. And I feel like both of these, when I went back and looked really, really up close, Hourglass's Vanish Foundation Stick is fantastic at camouflaging those lines. So is Ulta's. I won't buy the full size of the Hourglass Vanish Foundation Stick, even though it's a lovely product, because again, the Ulta one is the same. Plus, remember, foundation sticks are always way more expensive than foundation in bottles, so if you really gotta get one and you have dry skin, because this is really for dry skin, Ulta Beauty's Moisturizing Foundation Stick is incredible. This too was one that I had claimed was a close dupe, and I did a side-by-side today. This is the YSL Touche Eclat in number 2. And then I have the Ulta Beauty Youthful Glow Concealer with Hyaluronic Acid. What I said about this is that this is a perfect concealer if you are part of the non-YouTube crowd, because everybody on YouTube uses these super thick under eye creams, or concealers rather, and I don't get it because I don't like it. Now the Touche Eclat is kind of more of a brightening product as opposed to really directly being a concealer, but I feel like you may or may not need concealer. So today, I'm only wearing that corrector, and then I kind of put my foundation under my eyes as well. And then these. So I can't tell a difference in the way they wear, but I can tell a difference in application. This is a lot more watery, whereas this applies like a really light concealer. So I think that if you're experiencing a lot of creasing of concealer, this seems to be the #1 problem. You may just be going too thick with your concealers. I'm telling y'all. People go so hard on YouTube, but we're not all 16 years old on this platform. Just so you guys know everything going on, I didn't know which shade to buy, so I bought both light warm and fair neutral, and it turns out I'm somewhere directly in the middle. The two combined look exactly like YSL's shade 2. Do you need to buy 2? Probably not. You just need to find the one that works for you. Okay, we've got 3 more makeup dupes. These are a little more niche-y. Niche-y. Not to be confused with the God is Dead guy. I love Bobbi Brown. I absolutely love the Pot Rouge for lips and cheeks, and I've been looking for a dupe for this for a very long time. I found this Sugar Ball Cushion cheek color that I had ordered off of YesStyle, And the colors aren't the same, so I'm not wearing them side by side today. But I will tell you that I can't tell a difference in the actual application, and I might even like the packaging more of this one. Oh, this is by the brand Aritaum. I'll put up some side-by-side swatches of these. I just really think these are great dupes. Again, not for the color, but if you are looking for the texture, the finish, a cream blush that blends out beautifully and lasts all day, this is an incredibly close dupe, the closest I've come. I've also bought quite a few other drugstore ones. I think for this one, you got to go to Korea or have Korea come to you. Really, really, really good product. Why is absolutely nobody talking about this? I think it's just because not a lot of people wear cream blush, I guess. Then I really want to mention this one. So I tried the Milk Makeup Eye Pigment. Now I know a lot of people absolutely love this. I honestly don't. I find this very difficult to work with. So I really like the Almay Velvet Foil Cream Shadow because this is kind of similar to this. The color is almost the exact same. This is In the Game, and the Milk one is Silent Disco. This is a sample. I won't buy the full size. The difference is this one dries way too quickly for me to work with it, and I need a little more time getting my eyeshadow in place than maybe somebody who's more pro than I am, I guess. I don't know the reason. I just know I need a little more time. This Almay one gives me just the right amount of time so that it can set in place. It's really a beautiful product. I feel so stinking bad about this. So Lancome sent me a whole bunch of these Ombre Hypnose Stylo sticks. Literally $175 worth of them, and I hate them. I'm so sorry. I feel like an awful person, but I just don't like them. They wear horribly on me. These last two dupes are definitely, I think the cheaper one is better. You know, I feel like maybe these work for somebody, and it's just that it's just not me. I don't. Although that said, I do like the solid color ones, but I like them solely for graphic liner. On my lids, they just crease to infinity and beyond. I'm really making some odd references today. I have no idea why. Anyway, allow me to introduce you to the Kiko Long Lasting Eyeshadow Stick. This works. I think it's just that it's creamier enough to allow me to blend it into place, whereas the Lancome one just kind of sticks wherever you put it. I can see, again, that's why I like it for eyeliner, but as eyeshadow, like, how am I going to get that where I want it? It's already stuck. This one, I get just enough time to get it exactly where I want. Can you even see how this is bringing out hand texture, and this just looks really pretty? So, you know, again, the cheaper one is winning on these last two. Finally, a couple of skincare, kind of skincare. These are related to makeup too, dupes. Okay, so first off, the Bite Beauty Agave Lip Mask. I'm going to be honest with you guys that this is not my absolute favorite lip balm in the first place, but that said, it's really expensive, and I found you a dupe. They're very different packaging, I recognize, and probably nobody in the world is going to even make this association but me. But that said, this wears the exact same way as this. See, here's my theory on why people like the Bite Beauty Agave Lip Balm. It's a very, very heavy texture on the lips. And in good news, it stays on your lips all night with no problem. It's just also very expensive. So I did find this one on Yes Style as well. I like Yes Style, I'm sorry. This has that exact same thickness and longevity to it as the Bite Agave Balm. Now here's a caveat with this. When you apply this, it's in a tub, so you wash your hands, please, and then apply it with your fingers. But here's the catch. When you go to wash your hands, it's so long-lasting that it doesn't really come off your hand that well. It's kind of hard to get off your hand, and then in the morning you have to kind of use a scrub to get this off your lips. Long-lasting is all get out, maybe even longer-lasting than this, but hard to take off. So what I noticed with this, I was reading some other reviews, and a lot of people who are on medications that are drying out their lips swear by this. So just know this exists. It's not my absolute favorite, but I can really see that this has a place. Vanilla Clean at Zero. I feel like I talked about this at least once before, but I want to mention it again because it is a great makeup remover / first cleanse. It is like Green Clean or Clinique or any. I haven't done it yet. By the time you see this, I will have a comparison clip for you of this up against, let's do Clinique, because I think it has the closest texture to Clinique. I absolutely think it removes makeup as well as Clinique, but I will do this later. You'll see me removing this face. Once again, I'm telling y'all, some of these Korean brands are just so inexpensive and just as good as our high-end products over here at Sephora. My very last product, I'm so excited to share this one with you guys. So I love Omorovicza. This also happens to be an incredibly expensive luxury skincare brand, and this is one of my favorite products from them, the Moor Cream Cleanser. Oh, it's beautiful. First time I went to use the Pixie Rose Cream Cleanser, I was like, oh my gosh, it's exactly like using this. The color is a little different, but they both carry the same theme. They're both gentle cleansers that smell exactly the same and have these Hungarian muds in them. Actually, I'm not sure this one claims to be Hungarian, but this one claims to be Hungarian mud. This one claims to be mud. I realize how strange it sounds to say that cleaning your face with an $80 mud cleanser in the first place is amazing, but it is. And this is such a good dupe for it. You guys, this reminds me of 2 weeks ago when I couldn't stop talking about how much I hated Physicians Formula's cleanser. I can't stop talking about how much I like that Pixie cleanser. That is everything I have for today's video. Please feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what other amazing dupes are out there. Let me know if you guys have tried any of these. And thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.